मैं वाशगाफ अल्फाज में ऐलान करता हूं कि पाकिस्तान के पानी की एक एक बूंद हमारी रेड लाइन है। भारत राह रास्त पर न आया तो उसे बराह रास्त जवाब दिया जाएगा।
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has found his favorite line again. Water is our red line, he warned India on Pakistan's 80th Independence Day. He had said the same thing in Dushanbe last year. He's saying it again now. Nothing has changed except the calendar and the fact that India had put the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance 479 days ago. And in all that time, Pakistan has done nothing but repeat and repeat and repeat again the same warning. So before anyone takes this threat seriously, it is worth asking, what exactly is Pakistan threatening to do? And why does it keep saying the same thing? Is Islamabad preparing for a genuine water confrontation? Or is it more of hot air? Let's start with Shehbaz Sharif's words. Speaking on Pakistan's Independence Day, the Prime Minister called water the country's red line and warned of a direct response if Pakistan's water rights were threatened.
मैं वाशगाफ अल्फाज में ऐलान करता हूं कि पाकिस्तान के पानी की एक एक बूंद हमारी रेड लाइन है। भारत राह रास्त पर न आया तो उसे बराह रास्त जवाब दिया जाएगा।
Pakistan has used this language before. Its information minister said in June that water was Pakistan's lifeline as well as its red line. Defense Minister Khwaja Asif went even further. He said Pakistan would go to war if it believed that its water security faces a serious threat. So this is not doctrine, it is escalation in rhetoric. The problem for Islamabad is that India's decision is not new either. The Indus Waters Treaty dates back to 1960. It divided the 6 rivers of the Indus system. India received unrestricted use of the eastern rivers, which are Ravi, Beas and Satluj. Pakistan received the bulk of the waters of the western rivers, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, while India retained limited rights over these rivers for agriculture, domestic use and hydropower. Now, for decades, the agreement survived wars and diplomatic crises. And then came Pahalgam. On April 22nd last year, Pakistan-based terrorists killed 26 civilians. The next day, India announced that the treaty will be held in abeyance until Pakistan credibly ends support for cross-border terror. India did not set a deadline, it set a condition. And that condition remains unmet even after a year. Here is the part Pakistan does not want to highlight. While Sharif was threatening India, his own country was on fire in more ways than one. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is dealing with rising militant violence. Balochistan continues to see unrest and allegations of human rights abuses. In Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, protests have turned deadly with reports of more than 100 people killed in crackdowns by Pakistan security forces. Former Prime Minister Imran Khan remains in jail. So when a government facing these many domestic fires suddenly finds time to threaten India over water, the pattern is familiar. Point outward when things collapse inward. But to be fair, Pakistan's anxiety is understandable. The Indus system is central to its survival. Agriculture consumes the overwhelming majority of Pakistan's fresh water. Much of the country's farming, electricity generation and food production depends on this Indus basin. India's own government estimates that the system irrigates around 80% of Pakistan's cultivated land and supports a huge share of its water use. So when Indian ministers talk about keeping more water inside India, Pakistan hears something much bigger than a diplomatic sanction. It hears food security, electricity, jobs, agriculture, and political stability. That is why every Indian statement produces a war threat in Islamabad. Water diplomacy is serious business, and India's decision to link it to terrorism was a major shift with real consequences for the region. But repeating a warning for more than a year while your problems at home keep piling up starts to look less like strategy and more like a distraction. Shehbaz Sharif says water is Pakistan's red line. India heard that argument more than a year ago, and it has not reversed course. That is what makes the latest threat feel outdated. The real question is no longer whether the 1960 treaty returns exactly as it was. Indian government sources now say that the agreement in its present form will not function again, and that any future arrangement would need renegotiation. And that is the bigger shift. India is not yet capable of shutting every western river flowing into Pakistan, but it is building the capacity to use more water, store more water, and exercise greater control upstream. Pakistan can call that a red line, it can threaten war, it can go to arbitration. But the treaty it wants restored has already spent 479 days in abeyance. So the question for Islamabad is no longer whether India will cross Pakistan's red line. It is whether Pakistan has noticed that the red line has already moved. You're watching Times Access. I'm Aditi Prasad. Click on the bell icon below to subscribe and like this channel and never miss an update from Times Access.